In the quiet town of Blackwood, nestled deep in the heart of the forest, lived a little girl named Emily. Emily was a sweet and innocent child, known for her radiant smile and her boundless curiosity. Her father, John, was a local antique shop owner who often brought home peculiar and unique items from his travels. One cold autumn afternoon, John returned from a trip with a mysterious package in his arms. It was wrapped in aged, tattered paper and tied with twine. Emily's eyes lit up with excitement as her father placed the package on the kitchen table. "What's inside, Daddy?" she asked, her small fingers twitching with anticipation. John smiled and carefully unwrapped the package, revealing an old, tattered box. Inside, nestled in a bed of silk, lay a doll unlike any Emily had ever seen before. It had porcelain skin, glassy blue eyes, and a shock of golden curls. The doll's features were exquisitely crafted, but there was something eerie about its appearance. It wore a long, flowing white dress, and its expression seemed to be frozen in a sinister grin. Emily's mother, Susan, felt a shiver run down her spine. "John, are you sure about this doll?" she asked, her voice trembling. John, however, was mesmerized by the doll's beauty. "It's a rare antique, Susan," he explained. "I got it for a steal, and I thought Emily would love it. Look at the craftsmanship. It's unlike anything I've ever seen." Emily's curiosity got the better of her, and she reached out to touch the doll. The moment her fingers brushed against its porcelain skin, a strange sensation washed over her. It was as if a cold, invisible hand reached into her chest and squeezed her heart. Emily gasped and pulled her hand back. "Emily, are you all right?" her mother asked, concern in her eyes. "I'm fine, Mom," Emily replied, though she couldn't shake the feeling that something was off about the doll. That night, as Emily lay in her bed, she couldn't stop thinking about the doll. Its eerie smile seemed to haunt her even in her dreams, and she tossed and turned restlessly. In the stillness of the night, she heard a faint, high-pitched laughter that sent shivers down her spine. The next morning, Emily woke up to find the doll sitting at the foot of her bed, its glassy eyes fixed on her. She was certain she had left it on the kitchen table the previous evening. As she reached out to pick it up, she noticed something strange. The doll's grin had grown wider, and its eyes seemed to gleam with a malevolent light. Emily ran to her parents' room and told them about the doll's strange behavior. Her parents dismissed it as a child's overactive imagination, reassuring her that the doll was harmless. John placed the doll back on the kitchen table, and Susan decided to keep a close eye on it. As the days passed, the doll's eerie presence in the house became undeniable. Emily began to have nightmares of the doll chasing her through a dark forest, its wicked smile growing larger with each passing night. She would wake up drenched in sweat, unable to shake the feeling that the doll was watching her. One evening, as Emily was playing in her room, she heard a soft sing-song voice coming from the living room. She followed the voice to find the doll sitting on the sofa, its porcelain fingers tapping on the armrest. "Play with me, Emily," the doll whispered, its voice icy and unnatural. Emily's heart pounded in her chest and she took a step back, her wide eyes fixed on the possessed doll. It wasn't possible for a doll to talk, but the voice had come from it. There was no doubt. I can't play with you," Emily stammered, her voice quivering. The doll's grin widened further, making it look even more sinister. "But I can make the nightmares go away, Emily. All you have to do is play with me." Tears welled up in Emily's eyes as fear coursed through her veins. She backed away from the living room and ran to her parents, who were in the kitchen. She explained everything that had happened, but they still couldn't believe her. The doll sat innocently on the sofa as if it were a mere decoration. Emily's nightmares persisted, and she grew more terrified with each passing day. The doll seemed to mock her, appearing in unexpected places, always with that eerie grin. One evening, as Emily was about to take a bath, she found the doll sitting in the bathtub, its glassy eyes watching her. "Make it stop," Emily begged, her voice trembling. But the doll remained silent, its evil grin etched in place. Desperate to escape the torment, Emily decided to confide in her best friend, Lily. She visited Lily's house one sunny afternoon and poured out her fears about the possessed doll. Lily listened intently, her brow furrowed in concern. "We need to do something about that doll, Emily. I've heard stories about possessed objects before. Maybe we can find a way to break the curse." With newfound determination, the two friends began researching ways to rid the doll of its malevolent spirit. They spent hours poring over old books and websites, searching for a solution. Their efforts led them to an ancient ritual that could potentially banish the evil presence. The ritual involved a series of steps, including gathering specific ingredients and performing incantations under a full moon. Emily and Lily worked together to collect the necessary items, which included a lock of Emily's hair, a silver coin, and a sprig of rosemary. The most challenging part was waiting for the full moon, which was still a week away. As the days passed, the doll's antics grew more malevolent. It moved objects around the house, whispered disturbing things in Emily's ear as she slept, and even scratched her arms and legs while she slept, leaving painful marks. The nightmares continued to worsen, and Emily's once bright and cheerful demeanor faded into a constant state of anxiety and exhaustion. Finally, the full moon arrived, casting its ethereal glow on the town of Blackwood. Emily and Lily gathered the ingredients and performed the ritual as instructed, chanting the incantation under the moon's watchful eye. The room filled with an eerie, otherworldly energy, and the doll seemed to come to life, its grin contorting into a pained expression. The two friends watched in amazement as a translucent, shadowy figure emerged from the doll, wailing and writhing. It was a malevolent spirit that had taken possession of the innocent porcelain toy. As the incantation continued, the spirit was gradually drawn into a small, intricately designed silver pendant that Emily wore around her neck. The moment the spirit was trapped inside the pendant, the doll slumped back onto the table, lifeless and inanimate. Emily and Lily let out a sigh of relief, convinced that the evil had been banished. However, the relief was short-lived. Emily still had the pendant with the trapped spirit hanging around her neck. The haunting dreams and bizarre occurrences in the house ceased, but the pendant seemed to grow heavier with each passing day. Emily began to feel an oppressive presence lingering around her, as if the trapped spirit was trying to break free. One night, as Emily lay in bed, the pendant around her neck grew unbearably hot. She gasped in pain as it seared her skin. With trembling hands, she removed the pendant and placed it on her nightstand. To her horror, it began to levitate in the air, spinning wildly. The spirit's disembodied voice echoed through the room. "You cannot imprison me forever, Emily. I will have my revenge." In a flash, the pendant shattered, releasing the vengeful spirit. It materialized into a shadowy figure with eyes filled with hatred and rage. It lunged at Emily, enveloping her in a chilling, ethereal embrace. Emily screamed in terror as the spirit invaded her very being. From that moment on, Emily was never the same. The evil spirit that had once possessed the doll had now taken possession of her. Her innocent smile had turned into a sinister grin, and her once bright blue eyes had become cold and glassy. She wandered the house, whispering malevolent incantations and causing chaos wherever she went. Her parents were beside themselves with grief and fear, unable to comprehend the horrifying transformation of their beloved daughter. The townspeople soon learned of the sinister events that had unfolded in the household, and they shunned the once happy family. The haunting of Emily's doll had taken a sinister turn, and the town of Blackwood would forever be marked by the malevolent spirit that had been set free. The little girl who had once been the joy of her parents' lives was now a vessel for darkness, forever trapped in a nightmare of her own making.